Tom Hanks and his Mission Impossible franchise has the potential to be one of the best action franchises of all time. Yes, I said it and I do believe it. They have that potential. So now does the Dead Reckoning add to what may be one of the best action franchises of all time? Or has this film failed in the mission of entertaining us? Come find out. Welcome to Cine Here, where you come for all of your media needs. My name is Ray, and today I am reviewing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, starring Tom Hanks, Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, and Simon Pegg. Ethan Hunt and his team is back in the 7th installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. And in this film, they take on a developing AI by the name of the Entity. So does this team complete the objective, or do they fail in what is one of the biggest Mission Impossible films to date? Making action movies are not just simply putting action in films. That is not going to give you an amazing action film. It takes more. It takes suspense. It takes great action. It takes great action sequences. It takes a solid story, and it takes a character that we want to fall in love with or we want to hate. That is some of the mix of the formula to have a great action film. And I am here to say it. I'm not going to wait to the end of this review. The Mission Impossible franchise is like a fine wine. It only continues to get better. It is literally doing the impossible. There is not many franchises, if any franchise, that you can name that gets better with the more movies that they make. They always typically get a lot worse. Ask Fast and the Furious. They'll tell you. They will show you how to make a franchise get continuously worse as it goes on. And Mission Impossible is doing the complete opposite. Ethan Hunt, I want to see more of him on the big screen. So let's get into the story. How do I feel about the story of Mission Impossible? Because we all know that the plot takes backseat to the action in an action film. So let me get started by talking about the plot first. In this film, the plot is actually pretty good. We get high stakes. We get real consequences. And he is going against one of his most formidable foes. And something that is also so pivotal to what is actually going on in the world. He goes against an AI. How do you beat something that is infinitely smarter than you? How do you beat something that can see and react to all of your moves? How do you beat something that can hack any electrical programming or anything that you might use against it? How do you beat a foe like that? That is what this film's plot has you answer. That is what this film's plot makes you think of as you watch it. And the stakes are ever so high. You can only save the world 7 different ways. That's what Ethan Hunt is showing us right now. He's on his 7th film, right? So you can only save the world in 7 different ways and it still be relevant every single time you do it. So I have to give the writers credit for not only trying to continue to bring something fresh to a franchise that is 7 films in. I cannot stress that enough because it's so hard to do. We like movies that couldn't even get a sequel. You know what I'm saying? And we get 7 of these and they still feel just as fresh as the first one. If you're liking the video so far, make sure you give it a like. That's all that I ask. I don't ask for nothing more than that. Just give it a like to let me know that you are enjoying this review thus far. Now back to the review. And the action. Tom Cruise, I gotta praise him too. He has to be up there with some of the best action stars of all time. Like, why, when you think action stars, you don't think Tom Cruise? Why? Because I know I do. Like, when we go into these action debates of who is the best action hero, I always get into these debates with my friends. You know, we get the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world, right? We get all of these phenomenal action heroes, but we never bring up Tom Cruise. And I think that day has to change. I think Tom Cruise has to be placed in people's top 5 or maybe even top 3 action stars of all time. He's not in my top 3, but I will have to really sit and think, does he crack my top 5? And I probably would say, just off the top of my head, he might. And then if he keep making films like this and others, he might actually solidify that spot unquestionably. And this film only adds to his ever-growing resume of action films. And I have to add that he also does his own stunts, which should only give him more credit. He's on his Jackie Chan swag. Like, he has to get commended for that as well. And for him to be so short and to come up so big in these roles is crazy to me. Now, let me talk about the acting, something that takes not even a backseat to action. It's like in the trunk. Like, acting in action movies don't always have to be a thing for it to be a great movie, right? So how do all of these actors that we know fare? They all did good. Nobody did great. Nobody came in there and gave me an Oscar-like performance, but they all played their parts to perfection. They all were just good enough for me to be immersed in what was going on. No one dropped the ball in any scenes where I'm like, okay, it kind of took me out of it, or okay, that should have been cut. No scenes like that took place. Everybody did well. Everybody was believable. And that's big. In conclusion, I would give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning an 8.5 out of 10. I do believe that this film is one of the best films so far this year, and I cannot wait to see what Ethan has left in the tank for us going forward in the future. Make sure that you go check out this film in the theaters to get the best experience possible and be a part of what can be considered one of the best action franchises of all time. That concludes the review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more of my content, make sure that you subscribe and also hit the notification bell so that you can see more of my videos pop up in your feed. And do not let the conversation end here. Make sure you jump in this comment because I want to know if y'all think that this is one of the best Mission Impossible films, and also where Mission Impossible falls in your action film franchises of all time. And don't forget, you seen it here.